lives are great. Something I never heard my radio say. Black lives are precious, black lives are great. Something I never see my TV say. But since
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Kata Don.
It's your boy, Wraith.
And it's the Love First podcast. Another episode. We are in the 30s. Yay!
30s, but we not.
Yeah. Y'all already know, man. It's been a minute. I do want to say, a special tribute to my cousin Melissa, who's no longer with us. I just found that out last week. That's why I kind of took like a break from social media and everything, just kind of processing, but shout out to the family for just really coming together and supporting. Special shout out, Ariel for taking care of the kids. I mean, you're truly a blessing. Shout out to the family, and we just want to celebrate Melissa, So I just want to start off. Yes.
In peace.
Definitely. We do have updates and news for you guys, man. A lot of stuff going on. Wraith, man, what's going on the other side of the world right now?
You act like I went all the way. Oh man, updates. Well, you know what I'm saying. I got a single coming out. You feel me? Got my own, official single coming out. Also got the mixtape. Album, as I should say.
Yeah. You want to tell them the name of the single? Or not yet?
Nah.
No, save it. It's a good title.
Nah.
Good
Yeah.
Coming April, right? We gonna make him drop it in April.
Yeah, I'll drop it in April. Cool.
Yeah.
Drop it as soon as possible.
Yes.
I think it's about that time. Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
What else?
I know you got new YouTube videos, right?
Yeah, I got new YouTube videos coming. I've been getting inspired a little bit by obviously you, other people that I'll watch on YouTube. I've been getting inspired to talk about some topics and things of that nature. So new YouTube videos coming, more reactions coming. What else, man? I've been listening to that Kata Don on katadon.com.
Yes. Make sure you on that website. Kwame says hi is coming.
Right. Fire, bro. Fire.
For real.
What else? Of
course, we got See You Win coming soon.
Oh yeah.
That's the Kata Don and Wraith. We actually we thought we finalized the track list, but we just added a new song like a day or two ago. We just went crazy or something.
Yeah. It remind me of I Quit.
Yeah.
It got like the I Quit type vibes where it's like
got that vibe,
giving you like a raw perspective.
Raw perspective. You got a story in there. The flow.
Yeah, a little story. Yeah.
The beat is crazy. You got a nice bop to it, but we just
right. Fire, bro.
Yeah, for real.
We had to take a song out.
I know. We had to. It's that'd be the toughest part with creating the project is like we just have to kick a song off because we truly love these songs and they some dope songs. But it's like, just trying to finalize the track list. But we'll have some SoundCloud exclusives, the stuff that didn't necessarily make the project, but it's still dope music. You know what I'm saying? But it just couldn't fit in the project.
Absolutely.
Nice project,
Yeah, but we'll save it for other projects. You feel me? Like, that's it.
Yeah, definitely. The first week of April, dropping a new music video, Take My Hand. That's a nice dope cancel. Yeah, I need you for that performance. It's a lot of melodies on there.
He said, I'm not singing and rapping, bro.
It's a lot of work. I mean, some of these songs I'm thinking about on stage, it's a lot of work. It's going down. And of course, you guys can donate to support the podcast. First, even before you donate, right, what you can do for free is like, comment, and subscribe. Every week we have a new Love First podcast episode for you, Wednesdays, about 3 p.m. But make sure y'all subscribing to YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Spotify.
Yo, I've been checking the views. Yo, lately our podcast episodes been going crazy. Like,
It's a blessing too. A lot of people been engaging. And what we gotta start doing too is maybe like answer questions for the people. So you guys can message us, comment us questions or whatever you want us to talk about in the podcast. Questions that you guys will answer. And we encourage you to comment. You know, a lot of people DM us and, you know, message us and stuff like that. But, you know, comment, share it with your people. And if you want to go the next level of support, donate to us on Cash App. We'll have more donation links for you guys soon. But you can support any dollar, any little thing goes a long way. If you could do 10, 20, 100, 100,000, a million, why not? You know what I'm saying? But if all you got is a dollar, anything to support, it does help. Helps our channel grow.
You know how much I want? You know how much I want, man? I want 150,000.
150. He would like 150. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you send a little extra so I can get a piece. You know what I'm saying? But he want 150, and it allows us to give more time for you guys to drop more keys to success. So you guys, instead of wondering, hey, how are these guys doing it? We're letting y'all know right here. You know what I'm saying?
We're showing y'all with the consistency.
Yes. Consistency is key. This episode, we have another major key for you guys, and it's about developing good habits. These 10 power keys, we're just taking it to the basics because a lot of people, we understand you want to do big things. You have to start with the basics. You got to make sure your foundation is right. Little things like time management, planning stuff out are keys to success that will change the goals that you could never reach before. If you apply these, you will reach it. Trust. Like, you know, I'm going to show a little. I don't know if I will show my goals. Maybe not. But I have a board of the goals. We're not going to share this yet. But eventually we're going to show you like the format. And it's just something simple, you know? Like I got a plan of goals, put it on my calendar. But I also just got a dry erase board in my room where just write goals so you can see in your face. I like to see goals on my face. So if I go another month, I'm like, nah, this has to get marked off, you know?
Yeah. For sure.
But we do have some news. We have some topics we want to talk about. North Korea, we were going to talk about what's going on with them. Talk about Joe Biden and his mishaps. We're gonna talk about
Quavo
and Sweetie. That's also been a large topic. We do want to reflect on some episodes that we've had in the podcast. Some of our favorite moments so far. We're approaching our year mark. Over 34 episodes. And then, you know, we got Battle Rap April 3rd. Cassidy has a battle, so you know we got to talk about that. Cassidy and his legendary Facebook.
I created Battle Rap.
Yo, I created the culture. I created Battle Rap fans. There'd be no Battle Rap fans. It's going down. So, Ray, let us know, man, what's going on with Kim Jong-un in North Korea?
All right, so, you know, Kim Jong-un's sister had issued out a statement, I guess, to Biden's administration, and she basically it was on. I guess this was last week, not this week, but this was last week. She had issued a little statement, you know, on Tuesday, and warned the United States to refrain from causing a stink if it wants to sleep in peace for the next 4 years. Which I feel like is Yo, North Korea be wildin'. So basically, to dig a little deeper, Kim Yo-jong's statement was issued as U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin arrived in Asia to talk with U.S. allies Japan and South Korea about North Korea and other regional issues. So she also has stated that we take this opportunity. Oh yeah, wow, I already said that. We take this opportunity to warn the United States administration trying hard to give off gunpowder smell in our land. And then she has said if it wants to sleep in peace for the coming 4 years, it had better refrain from causing a stink at its first step. You know what I'm saying? She's sending off a little warning shot, I guess, because
the administration.
Is meeting up with, other regions.
Which is definitely, it's definitely common
Yeah.
for North Korea to do that. So they usually give this kind of rhetoric, and always talk. They usually actually get a little more violent with it, saying they're gonna destroy America, turn it to rubble.
Yeah, which
And
I've
one
heard
time they even
before.
dropped a video of
Yeah.
like showing them destroying New York. Now in the past we just kind of, I guess, ignored it in a way, but now for a while now, I want to say feels like since like during the Obama administration, it was confirmed that they had nuclear weapons, which probably means they had it before then, but
Right.
came out and actually said it. So now any country with nuclear weapons, you have to show respect to, because you don't want a nuclear war. And then North Korea is always one of the most difficult situations for any U.S. president because, one, it's right next to China, so that limits what we can do. Two, it's bordering allied countries like South Korea, Japan, so they could always attack them, but now they actually have long-range missiles where they could directly affect America. So that's always a tough situation. Usually North Korea is just saying stuff for propaganda, so they look good in front of their people and they're sending a message to us. It's usually how it keeps going. But now they do have weapons and the situation does get escalated. So it is something to be aware of, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Like, you know, yeah, like North Korea. And the thing is too is like they have beef with South Korea, so it's like when you know when you see them talking about these things, it's just like, oh man, like, and then it got to be, and it has to be exactly when Biden gets into office too.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people using that as a reason, like, oh, see, look what happens when Biden gets into office.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting threats from North Korea, but it's been happening,
It been happening. Even when Trump. Okay, so what President Trump did that was kind of historical is like we never acknowledged them as like a world power. You know what I'm saying? So they're not even allowed in the UN. We don't even acknowledge their presence like that. The only way America used to say we would even acknowledge them and have the conversation is if they talk about denuclearization, which North Korea's stance is like, we're not going to do that because it's our only deterrent from being invaded by America is by having it. So Trump is actually the first president in the United States to bring Kim Jong-un here and basically accept him as a power in the world, as a leader. So he was able to take that back to his country and gain a lot of that because America has never done that in the past. But it was something I think Trump felt like. I feel like every president, not just Trump, every president in North Korea is so delicate. Their goal is to really kick it down the road for the next president. Like no president ever fully addresses the North Korea situation. They just try to move it in a way where it's kicked down the road. So they just want peace. And it's like, let the next president deal with it. So even after they seen Trump, there was no denuclearization. North Korea had kind of slowed down on their rhetoric of what they would say, but there was still nuclear testing. Maybe it was less, but it just seems like they were just doing things more quieter instead of out there. But every president has just been kicking the can down the road, So all we can do is pray. A lot of that stuff is really out of our power. So
this is definitely out of our power. They gotta keep the peace.
100%. I want peace, man. Speaking of keeping the peace, well, I don't know how it's related, but our president is going viral, man. Why is he going viral?
Because he tried to look cool, running up
the Air Force One steps.
Running up the Air Force One steps, trying to look cool, trying to play it off too, because he fell once.
Yeah.
But it was like a slight fall, and then he got back up. He fell again. It was like it was a slight fall too. But that third one,
I was trying, because I seen it on Fox News, and I'm like, oh man, y'all really gonna come out over him about tripping? And then it's like, the camera's always on you, so you're going to trip at some point. It's bad enough you tripping in front of the whole world. You got to deal with that. So I'm like, are they just coming at him? So I watched the video. The first trip, I was like, all right, man. It's a little funny, but, everybody trips, Second trip, I was like, all right, so this might go a little viral. But that third one where he's literally holding on to the rail, like he was going through it. Like I was like, oh man, this is going viral.
And
and I had to laugh. I tried not to.
Everybody that's on the conservative side was memeing that joint up.
Oh yeah, there was.
He's like, oh, this is our president, Like,
for real. I mean, I was trying not to laugh, but I couldn't.
Oh no, yeah, I was definitely laughing.
That third one.
As a person that's neutral,
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing. Because then I seen the memes and I seen him getting crossed by Stephen Curry, and I'm like, they had a picture of Stephen Curry doing a cross, and he falling. I'm like, oh God, and it starts. Like, yo, he can't even wait a whole day. Internet be ready, bro. It's like,
it's crazy.
You got the green light.
It's crazy, yo. Like, I'm gonna tell you how legendary that is. I have legendary falls, like my top list, right? And I think he made the top 2, right? I don't even know who got 1 and who got 2 because I mean, the Joe Biden thing, that third one, it was 3 times, so he might be up there. But between him and the Meek Mill's fall are like the most legendary falls of all time. So we're gonna play that clip of the Joe Biden fall, then the Meek Mills. Let us know in the comment section which one was more legendary.
Let me tell you why I think the Meek Mill fall is more legendary.
Yeah.
Because my man slipped and he went like back. You feel me?
Yo.
Like,
you know what?
He slipped and went back. Like,
yeah. Not even that. Like, it was like down the snow. When he got to the bottom, his legs were up in the air. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo. And it was bad timing, like, cause he like the street rapper that had the beef with Drake. Then Drake don't diss anybody, and Drake dissing him. And then he's slipping, his legs up in the air. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. Still got bad love for Meek Mills, but that fall is just like legendary, bro.
Yeah, that's the legendary fall, man.
Legendary, man.
Yeah.
But Joe Biden is going for the title because those 3, he did 3 falls in one. You know what I'm saying? And that last holding the.
You said you saw it on Fox News?
Yeah, that was the first.
Okay. Of course, Fox News, they on it. Like
I was thinking that, but yo, it was so many falls, everyone had to pick that up. Like I know they talking about that in Africa right now. It's crazy.
Oh man.
Oh.
So,
mm-hmm.
So in other news,
yes,
we have this past week, sawatiee and Quavo was trending on Twitter, and I was like, why are they trending? And come to find out, they broke up. Now there was allegations that the reason that it kind of had ended was because sawatiee, she was on a podcast a couple days ago with her ex, which is one of P. Diddy's sons, I think. His name is Justin.
Oh, she Justin?
Yeah. And I guess they had asked her a question about would you ever like do the honors of giving Quavo like a threesome? And and her answer was and her answer was like, yeah, like if he's doing everything he's supposed to be doing as a man and things of that nature, then I guess I'll do him the honors of letting him choose the guy to have the threesome with.
Oh no.
And they started going crazy. They was like, oh, what the hell? I don't know, man. It was just, I seen that clip and I was just like, all right. But there was also another, that was true. But I'm just saying that there was an allegation of that's probably one of the reasons why they broke up. But she took to Twitter because I guess she's seen all the ruckus that was going on. Yeah. And she stated that I'm single, I've endured too much betrayal and hurt behind the scenes for a false narrative to be circulating that degrades my character. Presents don't band-aid scars, and the love isn't real when the intimacy is given to other women. I emotionally checked out a long time ago, and I walked away with a deep sense of peace and freedom, excited for this new chapter of elevation. So that leads to tell me that he probably was cheating, giving his attention to other females. which is part of the reason why she went on that podcast and said those things. Because those are very triggering things to say. Because if my wife says something like that, yo, bro. I just looked at it like, yo, that's crazy. Quavo took to Twitter and said, I know you want to make this into a show, so I'll play my part just this one time. I don't normally put my business out there, especially my personal life. I feel the need to address it so there is no false narratives. He basically has said in the other tweet, too, that you wasn't the woman that I thought you was. And then she replied to him saying, take care. He's being cold with it.
which is kind of crazy. Before you get it, because you're gonna mention the sibling stuff too, right? Because I know the siblings got into like beef, but before we even get there, right? Let's talk about, I guess, my only feelings on it, and I try to stay out of this stuff, but we have a podcast, so we got to talk about it. But so my only opinion on that is, because I know like people were coming out saying, hey, Sweetie's a gold digger, this is why he did that, and they kind of going back and forth, is that no matter what, if you say that this is what she was, right, then you leave the person, you break up, you don't cheat. So there's no real excuse for cheating, no matter what the person did, because you can leave. So if it's not the person you thought, you don't cheat, and then, you know, two wrongs don't make it right.
Yeah, there's like
situation.
It's like what I see with a lot of these and I don't really pay too much to celebrity relationships, and I feel like it's bad for your health to pay this much attention to it. I mean, obviously we have a podcast, we have to address news, you feel me? But I just feel like a lot of people in these high status celebrity relationships, they don't really know how to love the person. And they just feel like, oh, well, you know, he bought her a car. And I'm like, but you could shower somebody with so many gifts, but the relationship could be going horrible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like materialistic things for somebody that really loves you is not really going to impress them. You know what I'm saying? It's that time and attention that and unconditional love that you're supposed to give them that is going to matter more than the materialistic things.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this, and that's the problem that I have with this generation, using so much of their time to pay attention to this to these high status relationships and thinking that, oh, okay, I'm gonna get my, you know, oh, my husband's mad at me right now, I'm gonna go buy him a Rolex and he'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not gonna fix the problem, you know? Her going on that podcast and saying that threesome line, that doesn't fix that don't fix the problem either. You know what I'm saying? Like using fire to add the fire is just gonna make the fire bigger and eventually burn down the house.
Yeah.
So you know, it's just like, and it's just bad when you have millions of people tuning into how their relationship is gonna unfold, and you got one side agreeing with Quavo and you got the other side agreeing with Sawatiee, but in all reality, they was both wrong. They was both wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because you bought him expensive gifts too. That doesn't solve anything.
Yeah.
He bought you expensive gifts too. That doesn't solve nothing. If you cheated on her, bro, like, so, you know, it's a horrible situation. It should have been left off the internet, as what we always say, as what we talked about, you know, with Cardi being Offset. It should have just leave your business off the internet. Be two grown people and handle it off the internet. You know what I'm saying? Go to therapy if you have to. You know what I'm saying? Take the necessary steps, but don't bring it to. And I understand why she had to defend herself, because there was a narrative being put out against her that was shaming her.
Yeah.
And you know, it just
and another thing that sucks for them too is, like, when you are on that level, you do have to announce, and it sucks. You got to announce when you're breaking up with someone, because when paparazzi spot you out with someone else, they're gonna be like,
exactly.
"Oh, you're doing this." So it sucks, but you really want to leave it there. You don't want to do any extra energy, whether you dislike the person or not. because the whole world is going to keep talking. So you want to leave that alone. Like, even, you know, me and my wife, we inspire so many people. We be looking like the perfect couple out there. There's no such thing as the perfect couple, but we don't put things out there online.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing. It's life changing. So when we work through stuff and we get over stuff, we're good. We don't have to deal with a billion, cajillion opinions and this and that, stuff like that, you know? So, and that goes for everybody, no matter what level you're on, keep it away from social media. And if you're not this big famous celebrity that has to put a certain amount on social media, I encourage you not to. Like, for real.
Yeah.
These people don't have to, and every day they put it out information on social media that shouldn't be there.
You have to understand too, like you could be an independent person that knows how to stand on their own 2 feet and don't really let somebody's opinions get you. But if you're seeing 1,000 opinions saying to break up with him, eventually that might sway your mind.
Yeah.
Not everybody's strong-minded like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
you know, especially if people you respect, everyone's saying that, you know. So it's like, want to keep that out.
What you say? You mentioned something about siblings. What was you said something about?
I know,
siblings?
like I want to say Quavo's sister kind of jumped out there.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Let me find a tweet like that, because I know she was coming out saying that basically like, y'all stop fronting, like you're not this person you claim to be, you a gold digger. So I want to say she was kind of like a major player in starting the gold digger narrative, and that's Quavo's sister, who necessarily didn't need to jump in, because even Quavo, he don't like his personal stuff out there. So a lot more tweets, because even though you mentioned tweets from Quavo and Sweetie, most of these tweets came from Quavo's sister and who did it on Sweetie's side? Her aunt? Yeah, and Sweetie's aunt. And Quavo's sister and Sweetie's aunt are going back and forth more than Quavo and Sweetie.
Wow.
Now they're making the story get bigger than what it needs to be.
Right.
You know, let it go. If it ain't about you, leave it, because if I'm in that situation, I'm looking like, man, people trying to get clout. Like, you don't need people to speak up. Just leave it.
Right.
Here, they go back to their music. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. Absolutely.
If they ever loved each other at any point, you definitely you want to let it go. You don't want to keep that going. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like we talked about before. Just leave it off the internet. Not everything got to be for the internet. Not everything got to be for everybody's attention. You're just doing nothing but setting a bad example by thinking it's okay to put your business on the internet. And more people are going to be okay with putting their personal relationship things that they're going through on the internet for somebody that you don't know to judge you. And that's not good for both.
Anybody.
Yeah, like, it's not.
Nothing good comes from that. Facts. We'll dive into our key to success. We're gonna do another video, so make sure you got tuned for the reaction video, because we definitely gotta talk about this Cassidy Hitman face-off. Y'all need to tune into our reaction video. We want to be there when y'all experience this. The creator of battle rap culture is back.
Yo, I just want to say, yo, shout out to King Don for getting me a little bit into the battle rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been watching it a little bit on my own. Yeah. I've actually been picking up some of the like stuff like as far as like flow patterns and things of that nature and punchlines and stuff.
Yo, but like, back, Wraith that straight punchline, like boom, boom, bang, bang.
Yeah, but nah, I just want to say, like, yo, like Cassidy's face off, bro. This is just he need to have his own museum.
Yeah.
For the face offs, bro.
He needs to show something real.
Yeah, like
he needs a show where he just face off against like every battle rapper. He don't even got a battle. Just do a show where y'all just talk history. Like, who could beat him in a face off? Like, he's definitely undefeated in these face offs.
Oh, this man is undefeated, bro. Because it's just like anything that he's done in the past, you try to bring it up and use it as ammo against him, he just negates it with his mindset and how he thinks. He's like, "What you talking about? That never happened."
He lives in his own world,
and it's just with the utmost confidence.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's kind of it's like you look kind of crazy, but
but it's crazy though in a way because it's like he lives in this world. Like there's
yeah.
I don't want to say too much because we're gonna show the video, but even when someone is presenting facts that everyone can like check up on, like his energy, it just vibrates those facts away. And it's like, yo, you
all my
gotta respect
videos.
it and check it, man. You gotta respect
He
it.
said, "What video did 1 million?
Yeah.
All my videos."
He said, all my videos did 5 million. And it's like, you gotta respect it and check it. Like, I know
Oh
every
my
video didn't do
God.
5 million. I haven't seen a battle with 5 million, but I just respect his energy that it's like, you can't tell him anything. He feels this way and he just goes, I do
think
encourage everyone to be humble, but I love to see confidence exuberated in a way where you force the world to live in your world. Like, you know what I'm saying? I
yep.
always think that's interesting.
Yeah,
And he forces us there
absolutely.
because I'm gonna see this
Yeah.
next battle. For real. But that's gonna
Oh
be the
my
reaction
God.
video. Right
Yeah.
now, we're gonna drop into what you guys been waiting for. A major key to success, so you guys can get your millions and billions, your treasure, your success. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
what we're talking about today is developing good habits. So we talk about
Yes.
last keys like making a plan, being prepared for the unexpected. Now let's get into developing good habits. You can have big dreams, you can have great goals and still fail. Now, this key of success we're talking about today, it requires you to turn your goals into actions. When you turn that into action, it's not a dream, it's a real life goal. Now, repeated actions in the right directions become helpful habits. So, helpful habits are repeated actions in the right directions.
Yep.
Once you form the right habits, you create momentum. We love momentum. So, creating systems for your life as you're forming good habits can help you to stay on track. You can build systems by grouping good habits together. Having a system in place can keep you from having to make decisions on the fly or keep track of doing all your goal-oriented tasks one by one. So,
Sir.
there's a quote, a dope quote. You want to let them know that quote?
You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Yeah. And then that really kind of says a lot and sums it up, So what he just said, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. So it's basically saying just because you have a goal that's out there, like I want, right? And I'm gonna say it's a dream, right? Because when it's just something out there, because to me, goals is an action, right? You're taking action with it. So we'll say a dream. So just because you have this dream, it doesn't mean you rise up and you automatically get it. It's cool to have that vision, but what systems are you putting in your life so you can get there, right? So
Right.
like, I want to be this famous rapper, podcast, actor, or whatever it is. You have to invest in yourself. So to say that you want to do that, and you might go out to opportunities and stuff like that, but what are you doing to develop in yourself? Because everyone's always looking for other people to develop it, to invest in them, but you need to invest in yourself first. So what systems do you have to save? What systems do you have to bring in income? What systems do you have to save income? What systems do you have to invest? What systems do you have to make time to be able to do all of this stuff?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like, it's not just about the vision, but you can fall to not having your systems.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, what's okay, so we're gonna talk about developing good habits and making them stick, right? So we have some proven strategies that work. Let us know the first strategy.
The key tips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The first one is to start with small adjustments.
Yes, small adjustments, which means most people have a mindset to achieve everything in a single day, which ends up getting them nothing in the end. Instead of going for fixing everything in a small amount of time, it's better to make small yet effective adjustments so that your mind can handle these gradual positive changes. Can you kind of give us like a little deep dive into that?
Into the small adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
Just
like your own thoughts on it. Yeah.
Okay, my own thoughts on it. Well, I just feel like I feel like when people usually figure out their purpose, and this usually happens a lot, when somebody has finally figured out their purpose and what they want to do, they tend to make the biggest adjustment in the world, and it could lead to such things as like a mental breakdown and probably you not wanting to pursue it no more because you didn't start with small increments. It's always good to start. It's always good to make a small adjustment first, and then progress, and then have a daily pattern, because the whole part of like the key to developing like a good habit is to being able to do it consistently and daily.
Yes.
So that you don't stress yourself out.
Yeah.
So start with a small adjustment and do that daily. And then once your mindset is at a point to where as soon as I get up, I make my bed. And some people, they get up, they don't make their bed. I'm a victim of that.
Me too. So that's why we married though. So
but something as small as that. You know what I'm saying? Like I was watching a YouTube video. I forgot the guy's name, but he was talking about something as small as making your bed daily.
Yeah.
Can put you in line to have good habits.
Yeah.
Because even when I was, living with my mother when I was younger, like my mom used to be like, make sure you get up every day and make your bed. Like set it for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, definitely start with the small adjustments.
Exactly. They really truly add up. And like even what you were saying is like sometimes when you try to do a bunch of major things at a time, you get overwhelmed to the point you actually stop even doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like even
because no, I was just gonna say, like, just because like you're so excited that you finally figured out what your purpose is. Most people they just jump out there. You feel me? And with no real blueprint. You know what I'm saying? There's not a blueprint to figuring out life, but you can have a blueprint to figuring out how to reach your dream, though.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, but most people, they get so excited because they finally figured out what they want to do with their life. They don't know how to tackle it.
Yeah.
You know? So that's usually what happens.
It's real. And you got to take it incremental. Like even something like the podcast, editing it weekly. You know, like sometimes I have my editing day, but if I don't start any pre-editing, like at least organizing the files or sending you for timestamps or whatever the case may be, then when my editing day comes, it feels like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. And then I've literally had a week where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this next week because it feels so overwhelming because it's everything at once.
Even with the
like
timestamps.
Little adjustments, little adjustments I would do is like organize the file, do this, send you the video for timestamps, do that. So when it's time to edit, I don't feel like I'm at step 0. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, I'm 2 steps in, so there's only this much to go. I can do it. So that's how you do it. And what you said is super real. Like people get excited, but they don't have that foundation, so they get blown away with the wind. You have to have that foundation. It's cool to be excited, but go in with a foundation so you can stay on course. You know? Yeah,
I think that even with the timestamps, right? Like, well, I'm off until I have to go back to work, which is in the middle of April, right? But even when you would text me like, yo, can you get me these timestamps as soon as possible? I would tell myself, listen, I'm done with work. As soon as I get home, I'm working on these timestamps.
Yeah.
It's a mental thing too.
Yeah.
Like you have it has to be inscribed in your brain.
Yeah.
So like to the point where it's like on autopilot. You know what I'm saying?
What the system does. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you want to get to a point where you're so deeply involved with the daily pattern that you have set to the point where your body's just like on autopilot, doing these things. You know what I'm saying?
And that's exactly, and when all these strategies we're telling you for developing good habits, it's just gonna come natural. It won't even feel like a habit. Like you remember back in the day when we used to go to the gym all the time before the pandemic, like it didn't feel like going to the gym. It just felt like this is what we do at this time every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is part of our day. Like, you know what I mean? And
we gotta get back to that, man.
Facts, I know, right? Oh man. 100%, man. Get like 40 pounds of this pandemic. um, another another strategy for developing good habits, right, is positive thinking, staying optimistic. Now,
Right.
the mindset is so important. Positive thinking not only helps you to overcome negative feelings, but it also enables you to deal with stress-related issues in an effective manner. Positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring all the things and continuing with your daily activities, but it's about reacting positively to all unpleasant things. If your thoughts are mostly negative about changing your habits, then it'll be very difficult to adopt a new good change in your life. You know, um, I'll use this example with church, right? In the
Yeah.
beginning, because I barely had days off. I'm always doing something. So like Sunday is like my only day off. I go to church like a few cities away because I really love the church. And I used to look at it as like, oh man, I'm so tired for work. I got to go to church. Like that mentality, like, dang, I just worked so long. Now I got to get up, go 2 cities away. No, just me changing my thinking of like the day before, like, okay, yes, we got church tomorrow. I'm going to charge myself up. It actually, when it's time to wake up, no matter what I did in the week, now I could wake up with gusto. I can actually get out there. I don't feel tired. I actually feel super recharged just from having that positive mindset. So how you think controls and affects your body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, the more positive you think, the longer you'll live, because
Yeah.
because well, one, you're less stressed out
Yeah.
because when you're thinking negative, something's stressing you out. Something's not going right, and that leads to other sicknesses. So the more positive you think, if you think positive daily, that means you're happy every day, which leads to you living a longer life.
Yes.
Because you're not stressed out. So just if you're a person that cares about your health, like, it's best to think positive every day.
Yeah.
And if you're going through a harsh time, think about the good that could come out of it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people they fall into like I'm gonna call it a mental sleep. But like a lot of people, they fall into a mental sleep and they just give up on life, and they don't understand that life is one of the precious things that you can have. Like the fact that you're able to breathe, hear, smell. Like a lot of people forget those things because of the stuff that they're going through in life, not understanding that you could always get yourself out of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people, they get themselves into problems where they feel like, oh, it's over for me, I give up, and then life just tears them apart. But you can't let this world get the best of you.
Yeah.
You got to be able to get the best of this world. So in order to do that, one of the steps for doing that is to be able to think positive daily.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. 100%. I care about my health. Trying to make it. Can you break down the next strategy?
Trying to live long years. Okay, but yeah. Step 3, once you make the decision, commit to it.
Yes. Break that
down. I feel like I'm gonna use myself as an example. I've made a lot of decisions in the past. I haven't committed to it, and I see what it does. I see what it's done to me mentally.
Yeah.
Not being able to a lot of the things that like, even with my YouTube channel, like the stuff that I like to deal with, it comes from the mental, because in order for you to have it in physical form, it has to come from the mental. Your mind has, like, your brain, like the way our brains is wired, like if you're constantly looking at pictures of mansions and houses and cars and stuff, your mind is gonna gear yourself towards to go for that. You won't know what poor is.
Yeah.
It's like with rich people, they don't know what broke is because they just they surrounded by wealth all day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Mentally, physically, spiritually, like, they surrounded by wealth, so they don't know what broke is. So a lot of my videos, it deals with the mind, and being able to make a decision to commit to it. That takes a lot of mental effort.
Yeah.
You know, that's things that I didn't have in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I had made YouTube videos a while ago too, but I never like kept up with the process.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and one thing I realized why I didn't keep up with the process is because my mind wasn't allowing me to.
Mm.
So if my mind wasn't with it, then my body wasn't with it.
Yeah.
Then I wasn't gonna get up and record that video. Just like how you talked about with you going to church.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You had to mentally put yourself in a place where, all right, I'm happy going to church.
Yeah.
Now you happy to go to church.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of people don't understand is like you could get to where you want to go to. You just have to turn on that mental switch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And be able to do it consistently and daily. And
Consistently.
that has
Yeah.
to do with that has to do with, you know, making the decision and deciding to commit to it.
Yeah.
That starts with that's a mental process,
Yes.
you know?
Being happy and being stressed are choices. Only
Yeah,
you can make yourself happy. Only you can make yourself stressed. Because the
yeah,
situation that stress you might not stress everyone else. But it's how you
yeah,
perceive and how you react to it. You do it that way. So
yeah.
yeah, that's why I love what you said about consistently committing to being happy. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And then
Mm-hmm.
you'll be committed. You know that mindset.
Yeah.
You know, the next strategy is being aware. Identify all your triggers and obstacles. Right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're developing a good habit, you have to have a clear idea about all your triggers and obstacles. If you don't do that, then you're likely to face failure. When you start to form a good habit, there will certainly be many bad days, but that doesn't mean that you should come back to the old habits to deal with them. For example, now I'm an example here, right? So, for example, if you want to quit alcohol but had a bad day at the office, that should not push you back to touching alcohol just to get over it. It can destroy all the efforts you have put in so far to get rid of that bad habit. Instead of this, try to have a better way to alleviate stress, like exercising, meditation, or something productive that helps you reduce stress and cheers you up. Now, how this was taught to me as a kid is that if you get rid of a bad habit, don't sit there getting rid of something, replace it with something. Because if you just get rid of this bad habit with all this open time and open space, you can fall back into it. Like the alcohol was the example. So
Yeah.
if you're like, I'm gonna give this up, find a good habit to put in place of it so you have something. Like exercising is good because it gives you natural endorphins that make you feel good. Or even the simple fact, once you exercise, you really don't even want to put anything bad into your body. I remember so many
Yeah.
days we left the gym, we wanted to be careful how we eat. We want to start eating salads because you just feel like, oh man, I got my body right. Like I don't want to
I started eating salad.
cleanse. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Smoothies.
smoothies, love the smoothies.
Healthy smoothies.
Yes.
But yeah, I think what I like about step 4 is basically saying take accountability for what is holding you back.
Yeah.
Because everybody in life has obstacles, but the thing is, it's hard to get over your obstacles if you're not acknowledging that they're there.
Yep. Yep.
So in order for you to get over your obstacles, you have to understand that one, like this is an obstacle that I have to get over. This
Mm-hmm.
is a problem that I have. And I feel like, especially with this generation, as far as like accountability wise, it's it's gonna you may think it's so easy to blame something that you're going through on something else. That's the easiest way out in this lifetime. Not to accept responsibility for why this obstacle is in my way. It's so easy to point the finger somewhere else and to not acknowledge it. The hardest thing to do is to acknowledge it and then try and get over it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest thing to do. And I feel like with this generation, it's so that's why a lot of people don't reach. One, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't have good habits. And two, is one of the main reasons why people don't reach their dreams because of the acknowledgement factor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to understand that you have a problem drinking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that you have a problem watching too much entertainment.
Yep.
Or you have to understand that you don't know when to put your phone down and take a mental break.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that.
Yes.
If you don't understand that, it's gonna keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
And the more time, you gotta understand, like, time is more than money. Time is the biggest investment.
Yeah.
So you need time to be able to chase your dreams and to develop these good habits. If you're using this time on things that are not mentally helping you, how are you going to get to your dream? Or how are you going to develop those good habits?
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
you got to be able to, like they say, identify. You got to be able to understand what's holding you back and being able to handle it.
Yes.
And when you get to a certain point where people are looking at you, people are looking up to you or looking at you like they like somebody that they want to be. You have to understand and let them know that, hey, listen, like, I had to take accountability for
Mm-hmm.
my life
Yes.
and for my life choices and for my decisions.
Yeah.
And not point the finger at somebody else and understand that this is my obstacle that I have to get over.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, but what you're saying, man, is super real, and I just pray people get it before you get older, because I even see a point with a lot of my old friends where I would try to help them have this perspective and this mentality. This is how you gotta. Don't look at the other side. The grass is always greener. Don't look for the handout. Like, be prepared to invest in yourself. Do this to get yourself here. And now I find myself years later in a drastically different situation than friends I started out with. Like, me and my friends, we started off in the same place, but as the years pass, because they're not holding things accountable. They're making an excuse for how this person got this success, how this person got this success, and why they can't get this success. Meanwhile, we were all in the same place.
You become
drastically different.
It's like your environment, who you hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
You become, if you're hanging around people where all they do is point fingers and they don't necessarily take action for the things that for the life choices they have made that put themselves in that position, eventually you're gonna do the same thing, because these are the people that you hang out with. Probably not daily, but this is your main circle. So you have to understand, a part of that accountability is understanding, like, hey, listen, like, these are my friends, but I have to be distant with them because they're not on the same wavelength as me right now.
Yeah.
I'll still call them and talk to them from time to time, but
That?
because they're not on the same wavelength as me, I have to distance myself from them because of the habits that they have. They're not good habits. They haven't developed good habits.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with you distancing yourself from somebody to save your own sanity.
Yeah.
This like, people, they just, you choose to hang out with a group of people that are mentally draining you.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that just because they're keeping you happy for that moment, that there's longevity in that.
Yeah.
But there's no longevity in that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no longevity in making excuses for yourself.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't put themselves in the mentally drained situation because they love them. But yes, major key alert, you can love from a distance. Give them
Yes.
some inspiration. Call them, give some encouragement. But you have to, it's like what they say in the airplane. You have to give yourself the oxygen mask before you're trying to deliver everyone else's oxygen mask. Otherwise, all y'all going to be passed out, So, yeah, like, you encourage from a distance, hold yourself accountable. Stop looking for excuses. An excuse is simply an excuse. Like, there's nothing. Listen, if if I'm late for work and the train makes me late 4 times in a row, yo, you can't blame the train. I don't
No,
care if the train stopped, bro.
no.
Like, you have to.
I used to
Yeah.
blame the train a lot.
Yeah, me too. Not me too. I've been there. We have. That's
But
real.
looking back at it now, like a lot of things, like looking back at it, like man, like I should have got up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People don't say, damn, you know what? My manager's right. I should have got up earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I don't really like managers
I know.
sometimes.
Because you, in your head, you'll be like, "Oh, y'all paying me to get up earlier?"
Right,
Like, you know.
exactly. But you have to understand that it's okay to be like, you know what? Maybe I should have got up earlier. It's okay to take that accountability in.
Yes.
A lot of people, they look at that as a weakness or a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, that's a strength.
Yes.
Because that's only gonna make you better.
Mm-hmm. It
That's gonna
allows
make
you
you
not to
better
be a victim.
that's gonna make you better when you go to your next job. It's gonna make you better when you're in your next relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Having accountability is no negatives.
Yeah. No negatives. Like,
Yeah.
it allows you to not be in a victim, and we live in a victim society where everybody
Yes.
blames everyone else for their troubles, and then they fall apart. You blaming anyone else will never help you.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So get out of the victim mentality. Be accountable. Anything that happens, whether it's out of your control or not, don't blame nothing else. Look at what you can do better. If I have a friend that did me wrong and I did all the good stuff, you know, I looked out this and that, they were just a fake friend, did me wrong, I'm not gonna spend my time, oh, I hate them, and years on them. It's their fault. I don't have this or that. No, what I do, as soon as I see the fake friend, they did this and that, I'm thinking, okay, well, what can I do better on my side so I can pick better people, so I can have better discernment, so I can create a better environment around myself. But you being stuck, because people confuse it, because even if some other situation, a person did you wrong, you still need to be accountable and just focus on what can I do better to not be in this situation again. So if you did everything right and that situation did you wrong, then just think about what can I do to avoid being in that type of situation again, instead of focusing on, oh, my life is messed up because of this one situation 50 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Like a lot of people, they will use that situation that happened 50 years ago for everything else that goes on in their life. Or the reason I'm treating you like trash, or the reason I'm being inconsistent is because of the situation that happened 50 years ago. That's up to you to mentally handle that situation that happened 50 years ago. That has nothing to do with the next person that you with or whatever.
Facts.
You know, like, again, lack of accountability.
That's real. Yeah, so we kind of touched on taking time to think on what's holding you back. Create a plan to succeed with failure in mind. So we touched on those. The next one, get support from your friends and family. I'll let you start on that one, Ray. So another habit, right? Strategy to develop a good habit. Get support from your friends and family. Why? How is this?
I don't have the article in front of me. So I'm just gonna go off. I'm just going off in the thought. Yeah, but I feel like being able to get support from your friends and family is important because one, it shows if people really like if people's really a friend or not. In my opinion. In my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Whether you giving me constructive criticism, you know, or you think what I'm doing is important, I feel like that determines if somebody's really a friend or not. I think it's also, in as far as family wise, I think it's important because one, especially from your parents, it's important for your parents to know what you're trying to do with your life, because you know nowadays, you know, a lot of kids, they're in situations where they probably don't want to go to school or go to college right away, and they probably want to pursue something that doesn't require that, and because parents are parents, they're not gonna essentially agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna essentially agree with wanting to support you at first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I do feel like if you get to a point where you can convince them, uh, by your consistency, by your good habits, if you can convince them, then having that family support system, you know, like backing you, sort of like hands pushing you while you're going towards your dreams. I feel like that's very important. Friends
Definitely.
and family, but family a little bit more because those are the people that raised you, and because they want nothing but the best for you. Even if you think doing something is not necessarily in your best interest, so
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna clash with them a little bit,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But in the end, it could work out to your favor if you just stay consistent with your dreams. And um, yeah, that's
And
pretty
and,
much
and
it.
even with that too, because what you said too is like sometimes you'll have like a vision or dream. Like let's say you want to be a rapper, right? Or a
Hmm.
basketball player or something. Now, most of your parents, because that's like a thing everybody says they want to do, right? And they don't really make it realistic. So most parents are not gonna initially support that, right?
No,
But that's why we
no,
really want to start off with the habits, right?
yeah,
Because your real friends and your good family, they're gonna always support the good habits. So even if they're not to this vision of where you're trying to take it just yet, because they got to see
hmm,
more from you, they're not gonna be against your good habits. So like, let's say you want to be this famous rapper, you want to develop a good habit with saving, and you're telling all your family and friends, I want to save. Now they're not, they might actually help you when you're in the store and you're getting a lot of stuff or you're doing this. They'll be like, hey, you don't need to do that or this and that. Like they'll help you with the saving aspect because they're like, that's a good habit. So even if they don't support
hmm,
the whole vision, they'll support these little habits that you need to do to get there, which in turn will actually help you get support for your big vision. But you have to
yeah,
start what we said. The first strategy was make small adjustments, right? So start with the tiny good habits, and then the people that are really here for you, they're gonna support that. You know what I'm saying?
hmm.
If you're trying to eat healthier, your friends and family are not gonna be with your McDonald's ruin you one for a Big Mac. They should be. You know what I'm saying? If they're real good friends and family. So you're always around them. So you wanna affect your environment, because if everything around you is doing the opposite, it's gonna be hard for you. If you're really
Yeah.
trying to eat healthy and everyone else is just eating fried food and the craziest things, and you have to smell this every single day, it's gonna be hard. So explain to them, get that support.
Man,
uh,
facts.
celebrate celebrate your small wins. Now that's
Yeah.
something that can actually help you with your good habits, because celebrating small wins, it brings you the motivation towards achieving something bigger, and it not only helps you like minimizing the chances of slipping back into the whole old habit, but it also pushes you towards making a good habit part of your life. When you reward yourself for making promise, you stimulate the reward circuit of your brain. Now that gives you a sense of achievement and motivates you to do even better. Me personally, out of all of the strategies, this is probably one that has been my weakness. You know,
Hmm.
we're gonna speak that it's not a weakness anymore. But I had a problem celebrating the small wins because I'm so far chasing this big vision. You don't
Yeah.
appreciate the small wins.
Hmm.
You know?
Nah, yeah, absolutely. I think being able to like not take a huge step back, but just take like a little step back. Oh, like I got like over 70,000 plays on Spotify and
Hmm.
things of that nature. I think it's good to celebrate that because one, it shows that you're making progress.
Yeah,
So if you're making progress, that means you're getting better outcomes.
yeah,
And that's what people look for. People look for outcomes, especially friends and family. If you want them to support you, they want outcomes.
yeah. You know what?
But
You know, I just thought about that. Like, we actually, I know you used an example, but we actually have that. Like, we over
hmm,
last year, we got over 70,000 streams for the first time in our lives, and
yeah,
we never really like celebrated it. We might have said something, but I think we should actually like celebrate that.
that's because we and I
We're
got
like looking for a
and
million. I know.
I got this habit from you. I just be in grind mode.
Yo, facts.
I'm not even looking at the because like I'm not even looking at the dubs. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? I'm just looking at the, and by dubs I mean wins. Like I'm not
Yeah.
even looking at the wins. Like I'm just like, all right, yo, that's what's up. Let's just keep going.
Yeah. And we
Which is,
gotta keep going.
it's a good, it's like a double-edged sword, bro.
Yeah,
You know,
it is. No, a good balance. You need a good balance.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think if we
Right.
do celebrate, that actually might help us push even better how we do our last project. If we celebrate a little bit, but we should treat ourselves. I'm like, wow, we have over 70, 1,000 plays.
1,000 plays.
You know what I'm saying? So
that I didn't even know that.
Listen,
That's crazy.
We're gonna celebrate Butterfly Doors as we're going into these new 2021 projects. We never really like celebrated, it was out, we celebrated that, but we really accomplished
and
a
it,
lot.
it happened it happened fast too. Like when we recorded Butterfly Doors and did the artwork for it, like it just happened so fast. It was like a blur to me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because I'm already thinking about like the next project and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
We both like 2 projects ahead, and we still got projects to drop right now.
I know. I was talking to you the other day about doing like a drill project.
Yeah.
We even got this. See you when it's not even out yet.
And it's a good balance because at least we're still thinking ahead where we're not gonna stop off the win, but just celebrate just a little bit.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, because we're not settling, because we want more.
Definitely.
It's always good to want more for yourself if you're that type of person.
For sure. I mean, if they're watching this podcast, they should be, because this is what we're about on this podcast.
Yeah, right.
Another strategy. We just got a few strategies left. Another one, and we talk about I want to say we mentioned this somehow in every episode.
Yeah.
On your environment. Your environment is key. You can never deny the significance of the environment in developing a good habit. Suppose you decided to eat clean, but when you open the door of your fridge, you find all the junk food in it. How hard will it be for you to resist that? If you won't focus on changing your environment, then it can be a bit of a challenge to get rid of your bad habits and replace it with a better one. So make the right changes. That goes for smoking, right? If you want to give up smoking, you can't be around everyone that's smoking 24/7. And I think there's a rule. They say like the first week is always the hardest whenever you're trying to get out of like a bad habit. And then they say it takes about 28 days consistently to develop a new habit. So if you say I want to be different and you're still chilling with the same people doing the same things, you can't. You're going to be a reflection of that environment. It's going to be too much temptation. We're all human. I don't know if you have anything to add for that.
Yeah. Like I talked about with like messy bed and stuff. It's important to make sure that your environment, even if your environment's in the process, it's always good to make sure that your environment's in the process of matching where your mentality is. You can have like this great mentality, I want to do this, that, and the third, like you talked about with eating healthy. Like if you want to be a person that's super healthy, if I open your fridge and I see mad cupcakes and mad Big Macs, mad Wendy's and all types of crazy stuff, then your environment is not matching your mentality. It's not matching what you're striving to reach. Now, if I open your fridge and I only see one cupcake and the rest of it is a bunch of healthy stuff, then I see that, okay, I haven't fully gotten rid of this bad habit, but I'm working towards it.
Yes.
So my whole thing is like, I'm all about progression, even if it's slow progression. As long as you're progressing, you're doing the right thing. Some people, they just don't progress at all. They don't show no types of progression, and that's bad because you wanna be able to live in a space where you're mentally sound and you're comfortable with doing what you're doing.
Yep.
So yeah.
100%. Another strategy, of course, focus on building a routine. That has to do with planning and the systems that we're talking about. So instead of, if you have a goal and you're trying to achieve something, instead of being so sporadic about everything, develop a daily routine that you have going on. For example, like, you know, I work for myself, so I actually have a schedule every day of at least 8 hours. My wife has to pull me away because I'm always at least trying to do a 12-hour a day, right? But I have 8 hours of this is what I need to do every single day. 8 hours, I'm looking at this, right? This day's focused on this day's focused on this, Friday's focused on podcasts, this is that, you know. So every day, just having that habit and that routine, and then my goals just start getting checked off, and now you have new opportunities. So make sure you focus on developing a routine. And then another important one, make a journal. And this is something I feel like I need to do a little more too, is make a journal to list your wins and mistakes. You know, journaling is commonly considered a good habit by itself because it doesn't, not only does it help you know about the wins and mistakes of your whole day, but it helps you improve your skills to convey your message. So when you actually be able to, you know, it kind of reminds me of a business thing they do called SWOT analysis, right? And when you're about to do something, you break it down to SWOT. It's the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, right? That's how you do a business plan. So that's the same thing you should do with your goals, right? Find out what are the good things that you did so you could keep doing it, and find out what is a disadvantage of you so we can stop that or improve on it. But both are equally important because you may not recognize the good things that you do. Like even music, for example, I do listening sessions for all my songs, get you guys thoughts and opinions for stuff because I want to know, like, what are the good tones? What are the good flows that I could keep doing? You know, what can I improve on? But I take that to
I'll be like, yo, man, just release some more.
I'm working on it. I'm releasing more.
Fire. Yo, let me just say, man, yo, the songs that I haven't heard, bro.
They're gonna be shocked. One day they're gonna hear one day.
You know what I'm saying? My whole thing when I listen to music is just like the amount of versatility you have, and I think that takes, but that takes a lot of. It takes a lot of failure, and it takes a lot of experience.
Facts.
To get to that point where you're that seasoned. And I think for people that's watching this podcast, you have to understand that if you want to get to a point where whatever craft you have, that you're so seasoned at it, you have to understand that you have to experience what failure is. You have to experience these many forms of things in order to get to a point where you're at that level. Because a lot of people, you know, they see superstars and they be like, yo, I want to be like that. But they don't understand, like, what the superstars go through on a daily basis. You just see the end result.
You
That's
see
kind of sometimes why
too, because that'd be
it's kind of sometimes why I don't like watching like Grammys and stuff. Because like you see the superstar, you see the jewelry, you see them in their final form, but you don't see the process. And that's the thing, like you don't see the failures, you don't see the times where they given up and then they got back to it. Like they don't see none of that. They don't see the journey. So because you don't see the journey, you think to get from here is simple, it's A to Z. Not understanding that there's in between the A to Z. You know? And I just feel like when I hear your music is a combination of things. It's versatility, is also but it's passion, is the chip on your shoulder because of the times that you went through. I see a lot of things that, you know, that if people want to get to that point, that's what they have to go through.
For sure. And then that self-realization is what really helped take it to the next level, because sometimes you'll go through the failures and then to keep making it because you're not being real with yourself that, hey, this is not the best approach. You know what I'm saying? We need a different approach. I've seen people spend years and years in the same approach. And I'm like, look, you've been doing that for years. Try something different.
What up, everyone? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification bell for the latest podcasts, music videos, and comedy skits. We got a lot more content coming your way.
We here all day, baby.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel, baby.
Yeah, we gotta show love first like a podcast. Put the work in, trying to make it last.